All right, Sky Harbor Airport had a long ground delay yesterday, and it was one of many airports around the country. Now, earlier this week, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said the Trump administration would close down the aviation system if the ongoing shutdown made it too risky to travel. So, is there a possibility that could actually happen? It happened during the busiest time to fly for the year, Thanksgiving.
Joining us is Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton, who sits on the House Transportation Committee and its Aviation Subcommittee. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Despite your feelings about why the shutdown is happening, if U.S. airspace does in fact become unsafe because there's too many air traffic controllers calling in sick, would you back Secretary Duffy's move?
Well, we work very closely with Secretary Duffy. Obviously, we are working on a plan to significantly upgrade the entire air traffic control system in the United States. The United States does have the safest air system in the entire world, but we're not perfect, and we always have to look for opportunities to upgrade. And yes, obviously, safety always needs to be the number one concern. But more importantly, I'm here in Washington, D.C. right now. We need the Republicans to be here. We need to negotiate a solution to the healthcare cost crisis, and we need to end this shutdown. That's what needs to happen so we can avoid what you just described completely.
Well, and, that again begs the question. If the airspace is unsafe, then do you back what the secretary is planning to do?
Well, first off, the secretary has a responsibility, and I believe Secretary Duffy will fulfill that responsibility to ensure that the safety of the skies is as safe as possible. So the secretary will do what he's got to do to maintain air safety in the United States of America. But on the political question, I mean, the Republicans need to get back to Washington. The speaker needs to call them back to Washington. We can negotiate a solution to make sure we keep healthcare costs down for the American people, for 40 million Americans, and we can open up this government again. We can and must do both.
I've heard people say that it's going to be the air traffic controllers that decide when this shutdown ends because, people not being able to fly or fly conveniently around Thanksgiving could be a real drag, and a lot of people, maybe not pitchforks and torches, but demanding the government get open no matter what's going on.
Well, look, last night, the voters in New Jersey and in Virginia and across America spoke loudly that they believe the Democrats are the ones fighting to keep costs down. We're fighting to keep healthcare costs down. We want to open up this government, must reopen this government, but we're not going to do it at the expense of having millions of people being taken off of healthcare because they can't afford the premiums. We're fighting to keep those premiums down. Today, I'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court, where there's a legal case going on about the legality of the tax increases called tariffs that Trump has put into place. We think those tariffs are illegal. They are illegal, and they are raising costs on the American people. It's a tax on the American people. We're trying to lower costs at the grocery store and on all items that are imported into the United States. We are fighting for lower costs. And I think the American people sent a strong message last night that they believe in that message. And I think the Republicans need to come back to the table and work with us to lower healthcare costs and reopen this government.
Arizona Congressman Greg Stanton on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, its Aviation Subcommittee, joining us here on Arizona's Morning News. I want to get to that Supreme Court question here in just a minute, but we have heard rumblings that there are some kind of behind-the-scenes talks going on between Democrats and Republicans on the shutdown. Are you a part of those talks? Are you hearing about those talks? Because that would be a positive move, somebody just actually talking.
Yeah, those talks are going on among senators. As you know, the Senate has the filibuster, and so they have to, unless they get rid of the filibuster, which is what the president is recommending, they have to get the 60 votes. So there is bipartisan conversations going on. On our side of the aisle, Speaker Johnson has not had the Republicans here in Congress for 7 weeks, literally 7 weeks. We haven't had any action on the United States House of Representatives floor. It's really shocking that they have chosen just to stay home as opposed to coming here and doing work. Even during the shutdown, we could be working on important bills and other important issues, but they've chosen to stay home for 7 straight weeks. It's really shocking. I think the American people, once they realize that, are going to be upset because they want both parties coming together and working towards compromise. It's how government works. Compromise is not weakness. Negotiation is not weakness. It's how things get done in our country. And it's really unfortunate for, I guess, strategic reasons. The speaker has just kept the Republicans home, and he's using that as a reason to do something really bad, and that is not to swear in our Arizona representative who was elected well over a month ago, Adelita Grijalva. She deserves to be sworn in and be put in on the playing field, if you will. And it's really subjugating democracy for the people of Arizona District 7. She needs to be sworn in right away, and we need to get Congress back to work and negotiating on a bipartisan solution to this issue of vastly increasing costs of healthcare.
So real quickly, you were Arizona's Deputy Attorney General, and Arizona Attorney General Chris May is right now part of this Supreme Court tariff case. Can you explain exactly what this case revolves around? Because it's not just whether or not the president has a right to impose tariffs, it's the way he's going about doing it, right?
Well, first off, the tariffs are increasing costs for America. So from a policy perspective, this is really bad. And oh, by the way, by sticking tariffs on our neighbors in Canada and Mexico and Europe and Asia, particularly Japan and South Korea, it's hurting our ability to win this economic battle with China. But the most important thing is they're totally illegal. Congress has the right to impose taxes. Tariffs are a tax. And the president has declared a false emergency, a national emergency. And he's using that national emergency as the basis to go against the Constitution and try to unilaterally put these tariffs and tax increases in place. It's bad public policy. Obviously, the Americans voted just yesterday that they want to keep costs down, and it's totally illegal what the president is doing.
All right, that is Congressman Greg Stanton joining us here on Arizona's Morning News, talking about a whole host of items that include the government shutdown, air traffic controllers. We had that very long ground delay yesterday.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.